Hey guys, McDoodle here. I kind of just want to make a video today about Project Gorgon and my experience with the game so far. I've had a lot of fun, to be honest with you. I I really think this is a fantastic MMORPG. Personally, that's my opinion. I think a lot of other people share that opinion too. It's really a gem in the dirt per se. And what I mean by that is you don't get a lot of MMOs like this nowadays. Sure, it has its drawbacks, as you can see, the T pose from the distance and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think this game is incredible. And I'm just gonna kind of go over a few reasons why I feel that way. Um, I really do believe this game could attract a wider audience, given a little bit more advertisement. However, I think the community that it has now is more than sufficient enough to have an enjoyable time playing this game and to really prosper and have a incredible experience while you play it. So I kind of just want to move into some points about what I like about the game. Then I'll go into some points about what I dislike about the game. Um, so yeah, it's my first time making videos. I'm kind of new. I've been streaming on Twitch recently, but really trying to get more involved with the community for new players and old players alike. So let me go ahead and move into my next segment. Talking about the strengths of this game. So this video is not going to involve too much gameplay, if any at all. More just me discussing points that I enjoy about this game and why I think you'd enjoy it too. So the first thing I want to get into is the dialogue and how NPCs matter in the grand scheme of things compared to other MMORPGs. Um, every NPC in this game matters, every single one. So in this game, I'll go ahead and show you. There's a favor system with most NPCs, right? So let me go ahead and move over to the inn over here. I'm going to talk to this guy. He sells food, teaches some recipes as you grow in favor with him, right? So right now my favor level is neutral. It's not too good. I probably want to get that up, right? And every NPC in this game has a favor system just like this. And all of them have different things they like, they dislike, that will raise your favor with them, and they'll expose new secrets to you about certain things, or they'll teach you new things, which is a really, really cool mechanic in my opinion. You don't ever really see that anywhere else. Um, it really has that old school, uh, figure things out as you go along, and it's rewarding, right? So it's like you figure these different things out about these different NPCs. You become friends with them. You become close friends with them, or even become like family to them if you get your favor high enough. And these all unlock new interesting features about this game. And just I'm kind of just touching on it because it's much deeper than that. But yeah, these things unlock. They unlock training. They unlock new relationships, new secrets. Because what this game's really about, moving into my next point, is exploration and understanding uh, that nothing is going to be handed to you in this game. So what I mean by that is, you know, if you don't go out and explore for yourself, you won't find these secrets, which I think is a really, really cool mechanic. Like there's a lot of things I personally missed in this zone, which is this zone is kind of a hub. This is Cerebral, and I haven't even explored the entire map. And so there's fog in the map, um, and as you explore, you can obviously unlock new areas. Not unlock, but you find new areas basically, and you find new little secrets and hidden things that they put in the game. And I really think that's incredible. Like I'm constantly learning new things about the game. I'm no expert, but I have been playing for a few weeks, and I just think that's a really, really cool thing. Like it's really about your experience in exploring things and how you want to play the game. And I also think that the dialogue in this game is it's witty, it's sassy, it's it's what I want out of an MMO. Like there'll be NPCs, that you'll come up to and they'll be like, hey, fuck off, like I don't want to talk to you, and then like you get in a conversation with them and you do things for them, and they kind of open up to you, and I think that's just awesome to me. So I kind of touched on the points of exploration and things of that nature and how you have to find things, but another thing kind of leading into that is also the community. So I've never encountered a community such as this one. It is incredibly refreshing. Uh, People talk, like you'll be traveling around in a zone, and you'll stumble upon another guy that's out there. And he's like, "Hey man, did you know about this? That this over there, it gives you this and this." You're like, "Dude, I didn't know anything about that." Like, yeah, I'm gonna go check that out. Or it's just very interconnected and intertwined. Like no one no one really gives each other spoilers. Like a lot of the high level players, are like, "Hey man," like they'll like give you a little tip, and you'll go off that because the beauty of this game is like I keep touching this and I keep repeating it, but it's really really true. Is figuring things out yourself. Um, for example, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody because I really want people to get the full enjoyment out of this game. Um, but I like, for example, when I first started, um, I was grinding a crypt near this city, and I was wandering around just trying to make my way in the world. And I was asking around, I was asking questions to newer players as well that are in the same zone, and they're like, "Hey man, like if you go in here, you kill this boss at the end of this crypt, you can become a spider. Like you can permanently become a spider." And there's many different animal forms in this game, but I'm just gonna touch on the spider because that's what I play. Um, and it's unlocked by like moving through this dungeon. You would never know that unless you figured it out yourself, right? But the thing is like you wouldn't figure it out yourself at that level because you need a group to grind in that dungeon anyways. And there's always people around like that are like, "Hey, let's group up," because it's more beneficial for you to play with people and unlock these secrets and unlock these new areas and venturing into them together because they're difficult. And I think that's this fantastic feature that they add, that this sense of wonder and amazement. What am I going to find around this corner? Like it's beautiful, right? Um, and moving on, there is so many different skills in this game. So Spider itself was what I use on my primary bar. So you have your primary, you have your secondary skills, and you can always switch those out when you're out of combat, of course. There's tons of different types of combat skills, and you can level any of them up as much as you want. Um, there's no cap on anything. There's no actual player level. It's all based on skills and these bonuses you get within the skills. Um, but basically, you can you can do whatever you want. So moving on to skills, there is many skills in this game, like I said before. However, the skills are not unlocked until you do quests to unlock them. You'll stumble upon many NPCs that will offer you training in particular skills. After you complete a few quests for them or favors rather. Um, Give them a few items they like. Get their favor up. Become friends with them. Um, and you'll unlock new skills along the way. And I barely even scratched the surface. I think there's something like 150 skills in this game, somewhere I think that's ballpark. Um, so with that being said, there's a there's tons of motivation to get out there. And I'll stop blabbering on about the exploration. Just a quick example. So when I was traveling through this zone called Illimari Desert, and I was unlocking the skill called Transmutation without giving away too much. And as I was walking, I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna visit this city in the distance because I saw some walls." I was like, "I'm gonna go check it out." And I move in there, and without spoiling too much, I came across this guy that was, he was telling me the how this place became a desert, and it wasn't always a desert, without revealing too much, no spoilers. And he was saying that there's certain things, certain like little caches basically throughout this desert that I can go and unlock, but they're guarded by, or they're made by minotaurs, and they minotaurs like to make puzzles and stuff. So I came across this huge, just like, I mean, weeks worth of content, right? And you would never, I would never had found that. Like it was something that had completely overlooked when I'd been in that zone before, and it goes in this awesome puzzle solving experience where I prowl around these dungeons practically, which they're all different every time you go into it, and it's just so much fun. Like you just stumble upon these certain things that really make your experience feel like a true living, breathing world. And it feels like around every corner you're just finding something that you can do, and I understand how they could get kind of overwhelming to a new player, and I understand that, but that's the beauty of this, right? You don't have to do everything at once. Like if something's interesting to you, go do it, man. Like do you, and that's what I love about it. There's no set path. The story, there is a story, like story quests, but they end pretty early, and it kind of leaves you to the sandbox and to how you want to live your life in this game. And you could be a farmer, you could be a craftsman. You don't even have to touch combat. It'd be hard to get some mats, obviously, if you don't touch combat, so you'll be trading with other players for that. Um, and obviously when you trade with other players, there's a whole plethora of player vendors, so there's a huge player run economy, um, on top of what you can sell to vendors. And moving into that with the vendors and going back to kind of the favor stuff, the vendors have like set amounts of gold that they'll restock like every week, I believe. And you can obviously get that, they'll spend more and more on the things you want to sell, because you can't sell all your gear just to one NPC. There's multiple different NPCs that like different things, that will pay you more for different things, and it's really beneficial to kind of seek that kind of stuff out, and even some NPCs will even offer you storage, and that's an incredibly useful feature, because your inventory management in this game it's it's made to make you want to find a way to manage your items, just like kind of a real world would be. Like, you can't just be carrying a bunch of stuff on you. You have to have places to store stuff. But, like, you can go down to your local storage or whatever, I mean, and store some things, but that's just not going to cut it, because you need more space, you have a bunch of gear, and there's so many places around the world that you can store things, and it's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about combat. Combat in this game is very, I would say, pretty deep. Um, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of different things and different like little builds you can do, because there's nothing that's not viable. Like that's the beauty of it, is that anything you want to do as far as like combat, like if you want to be an unarmed necromancer, you do it. Punch him to death and summon your creatures, right? Um, that's okay. And every So when you play a class, so like I said, you have your primary and your secondary, you'll get certain drops that pertain to that. So when you're in a dungeon, you'll start getting drops that say you're unarmed and necromancer, like I was saying earlier. You'll get drops tailored to that, and there's certain mods that will mod your abilities, right? And there's a lot of depth to that, because you can create these awesome builds that no one else is doing, or I mean, and obviously there's strong things, like there's things that are known to be strong. For example, like I play spider and warden, and warden is known to be a pretty strong class, right? So like target takes plus 20% electricity damage, right? So I mean, this is electricity damage. um People will hit me, and this is electricity damage as well. And so I kind of put dots on them with my abilities. So this is a build, like, I didn't seek this out, I didn't look it up, but it works really well, right? And you can kind of do this, and you have little items that add effects. Like, for example, this says deals 125 acid damage and stuff. So it's dealing damage over time, breaks down their armor maybe. Um, and you can just kind of do these different cool little quirky builds that in other MMORPGs I don't think would be viable. And I think that it really allows you to, whatever your play style may be, or you want it to be, it can be. And there's a lot of fun in that. There's a lot of fun in that for sure. So I kind of wanted to touch on things that I may not necessarily like. They don't necessarily bother me, but I can see other people being bothered by them. Graphics. So I play on low graphics because I like to stream. So I want to keep my FPS up a little bit, because the optimization on this game could be a little bit better for sure. When you get around a lot of other players at events, your FPS drops and stuff. But for the most part, it plays completely fine. The higher graphics, they look good, I think. Compared to some modern MMOs like Black Desert or something, obviously it's not. But it just depends on, personally, and I know it sounds like this isn't a dislike, and it's more of like I'm trying to justify it, but I personally think that gameplay stumps graphics every time. I think that if you have a good mechanics, you have a solid foundation, Uh, it works. It's charming. I think the graphics are charming. I think it's cool in its own little way. And this game is still in development. I mean, they're still pushing out constant updates all the time. So a lot of things will change. Like I imagine that the like when you get far away from people, like how they slide and stuff, that will obviously be fixed. When they're closer, their animations are fine. Um, so optimization could be better for sure. Um, that's really my only like. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to sell the game to you, but I kind of am, and I really think that there's a lot of things in this game that are great, um, and there's some things that are bad, like the graphics. But I think truly, like, there's really not that much I can complain about, and that could just be me in my honeymoon phase, like within the first month. But I really do. I mean, there's people have stuck around in this game for a very long time and still enjoy and still find things out that they haven't found out before, and I think that's really awesome. So my main complaint would definitely be the graphics and optimization. Definitely could be better, but I think they're working on it. So that's something to keep in mind. Optimization of a game could really be a big deterrent for people. So I think in conclusion, if you're looking for a take on a game that's very reminiscent of games like EverQuest, Asheron's Call, Star Wars Galaxy, this is definitely a game you should check out. And if you just want a fresh take on MMORPGs in general, if you're a new player to this genre, um, I just think it's really worth giving it a shot. And there's a demo. You can go ahead and try the demo on the first island. It really gives you a taste of the exploration and like non-hand-holding gameplay, and just decide for yourself if you like it. I would recommend to everybody, play it a little bit. Don't just take one little glance at it and set it down. It's definitely something you need to get into. You need to entrench yourself into, and you'll end up loving it. I promise you. Um, it's just an awesome game. Uh, and I really really hope that you give it a try. You give it your honest best foot forward, and and really entrench yourself in the gameplay, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's about getting involved in a different world outside of our real lives, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Thanks, guys. Madoodle signing out.